Hi everyone. Thanks for making it to tonight's show. We have a special guest lined up for you tonight. Let's have a big round of applause for Todd Leskie. So Todd, you're currently finishing up a BC Provincial Instructor's Diploma at Vancouver Community College, but I hear you have been involved in teaching for quite some time. Why don't you tell us about the history of that journey?
Sure thing. As a youth, I was involved in Sea Cadets and took a course on drill instruction when I was 15 years old. It was there that I got my first exposure to lesson planning and delivery, and over the next 4 years I taught weekly classes and full-time during the summers. In my 20s and early 30s, I held a number of positions at various colleges and universities as a teaching assistant while earning my degrees. But I worked my way through school as a ticketed electrician, and on the job I was always mentoring and teaching apprentices. Those years were formative in my own development as an instructor. Looking back, I've been working in one capacity or another as an instructor for just over 25 years now.
So what brought you into the Instructor Diploma program?
You know what's funny? After about 8 years of post-secondary with the goal of becoming a professor, my wife asked me one day, when are they going to teach you how to teach? I had always assumed it would be the experience of being in a classroom that developed those skills. But after obtaining my MA, I was looking for a way to teach in a college environment, and as part of my job search, I learned that most institutions within BC highly valued the PIDP program, so much so that completion of the PIDP is often a mandatory obligation once a full-time regular position is offered. The advice I had from many instructors at various institutions, as well as an employment counselor who had been through the program, was to start the ID program before gaining employment, as it would almost certainly provide a leg up in any interview process.
Where are you currently teaching?
Almost 2 years ago, I received a regular appointment at Okanagan College in Kelowna as a vocational instructor teaching electrical theory for the Department of Trades and Apprenticeship. I've now been there for a full 5 years.
Congratulations! If you had to reflect on the past 5 years of learning how to teach, what would you say were the biggest learning moments for you?
Wow, that's a really big topic because the whole experience of going through the program has been one constant stream of learning for me. It's been incredibly inspiring though, because as I've been learning about adults and their learning styles, these new concepts have been constantly intermingled with my own delivery of material and teaching. That experience of teaching then becomes another information set for my own learning, and the wheel goes round and round from there. It has been a challenge to apply strategies and techniques that were discussed in the program to the classroom setting at times, but I often find those same challenges to be a source of inspiration because they provide new insight as to how the learning goals in my classroom can be reached.
Do you have any specific examples?
Absolutely. For instance, the very first topic I studied in this program was about the differences between the ways youth and adults learn. It seems like such a no-brainer, but truthfully, I'd never given much consideration to that idea before. Adults have very specific characteristics in the way that they learn, and for me, much of that comes down to the wide range of experiences that they bring to our learning environments. On top of that, each learner has his or her own individual learning style that's a preferred means of filtering and processing information. So immediately we see that a classroom of adults brings an extremely complex and diverse set of social dynamics that need to be managed. In fact, more often than not, I visualize my role in the classroom to be one more like a manager or a conductor than as a strict information delivery tool.
It seems like there is a lot going on in the classroom. How do you keep it from becoming chaotic?
Yeah, I think chaos is a good word for it. But then, the same thing that creates that frenzy can be a very powerful resource, and if tapped into correctly, the possibilities for learning are boundless. Realistically, I don't think that many people would thrive in a totally unstructured environment, and I spend the majority of my time scheduling and planning activities so that there's a smooth flow from each moment in a day to a week, and then over a whole intake. But it's in those self-directed moments of creativity that are built into the plan where I often see the most individual growth in the students. It helps immensely to gain feedback from students as we move through the plan as well. I have a number of feedback tools that I utilize, ranging from informal to formal, both structured and unstructured. And that way I can better tailor the needs of each group as we head toward our specific goals and overall outcomes. Ultimately, if I had to pick a term to describe my classrooms, it wouldn't be chaotic, it would be organic.
That's a good place for us to take a break. We'll be right back.
Created using Powtoon.